starting lineups. First of all, for the visitors on the scoreboard, the Eagles of Judson University. At one guard spot, the senior, number 3, Chris Ositutu. At the other guard spot, the senior, number 5, Jordan Johnson. At one forward spot, a freshman, number 10, Ty Bailey. And at the other forward spot, also a freshman, number 22, Johnny Flynn. Rounding out the lineup in the middle, a junior, number 50, Thomas Denai. The Eagles are coached by Mr. Bruce Fields. And now the starting lineup for your Fighting Saints. At one guard spot, a 5'10" senior from Taiwan, number 3, Eric T. At the other guard spot, a 6' junior from Lockport, number 23, Joey Bujemi. At one forward spot, a 6'5" freshman from Auckland, New Zealand, number 0, Rihanna Maxwell Topia. And at the other forward spot, a 6'7" sophomore from Mokina, number 10, E.J. Charles. Rounding out the Fighting Saint lineup in the middle, a 6'5" senior from Sydney, Australia, number 13, Lewis Holy. Fighting Saints are coached by Mr. Ryan Marks.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. It's Fighting Saints basketball today, taking on their first CCAC opponent of the year, the Eagles of Judson University. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Terry Bonadonna and I am on the call for today's game as the Saints try to win their second consecutive. They come in with a 1-1 record overall. Judson is 0-2 and playing in their first NAIA action in quite a while. We're ready to get things started. It's E.J. Charles at center court for the opening tip against Judson center Thomas Donati. And Donati wins the tip. We're underway. Judson takes possession in navy blue, going from left to right. The Saints are in their home whites. They're going from right to left here in the first half. This is Jordan Johnson on the left wing for Judson. Johnson, a 19-point-per-game scorer to start this season out. Chris Ositutu passes off to the right side, and we've got a foul on E.J. Charles. Seems like a good time right now to introduce you to the starters for both teams. For Judson, the guards are Chris Ositutu and Jordan Johnson. The forwards are Johnny Flynn and Ty Brady, a couple of freshmen in the front court, along with center Thomas Donati. Jordan Johnson inbounds it, and we've got a quick travel called against Johnny Flynn, who took a step before firing the shot. The starters for the Fighting Saints today include guards Eric Ting and Joey Bujemi. The forwards are E.J. Charles and Rihanna Maxwell Topia. They've got Lewis Holy in the middle. Here's Eric Ting on the left side. Ting walks it off to the right, passes to Bujemi. Down in the corner, we've got another travel call. Rihanna Maxwell Topia shuffled the old feet, and that's 2 possessions, 2 travels in this game. Here come the Eagles. 40 seconds in. We're looking for our first shot attempt of the afternoon. Here's Ositutu. He gets a screen rolling to the left side and an offensive foul. Foul is called on Chris Ositutu with little push off with the offhand against Eric Ting. And so now we've seen 3 possessions and 3 turnovers. Not a sterling start to this game. We'll see if the Saints can smooth things out right here. Nope. Lob down low for Lewis Holy. It's intercepted by Donati. Now here come the Eagles. Strips from Johnson out of bounds, but a foul called going up. Jordan Johnson is going to get 2 free throws. It's the second foul already on E.J. Charles. We're just a minute into the action. And so Charles is going to have to take an early seat on the bench. Tough start for him today. Johnson lines it up for his first free throw, and it's good. 1-0, Judson takes the lead. Saints call to Carter Fahey off the bench. Now Johnson, a 92% foul shooter, lines it up for his second. It's good. Judson strikes first. 2-0 is our score. Carter Fahey bounces over to Lewis Holy. Holy takes one bounce, gives it up to Fahey. Fahey drives, passes outside Bujemi. Half the shot clock used up by the Fighting Saints, who are still looking for their first shot attempt of the game. Fahey against 2 defenders, picks up the dribble, bounces it down low for Holy, knocked out of bounds, and Holy was the last one to touch it. Donati got in the way, but Holy tapped it on its way out of bounds, so it is another turnover. Saints have turned it over every time they've had possession so far tonight. Eagles basketball. Johnson bounces up top to Donati. Into the corner, 3-point attempt. Comes up short from Beatty, and Lewis Holy comes away with a loose ball. Pushed down the floor, Bujemi one-on-one against Johnson, banks it in. Nice little layup for Joey Bujemi there, and the Saints badly needed that one. 2 minutes in, they've got not just their first points, but their first field goal attempt of the afternoon. We're tied at 2. Here's Ty Beatty, freshman guard out of Whitney Young High School. Over to Johnny Flynn. Flynn fakes the 3. Fahey recovered well on defense, and Flynn has to give it up. Pull-up jumper for Donati does not bounce in. Rebound goes to Fahey, and Fahey wants to run. Bounced ahead for Bujemi. Bujemi slows it down. Here's Holy. Holy looks at the basket, hands it up to Bujemi. He's got a little space as he works his way up top. Fahey pulls up, hands it off. 8 on the shot clock for Joey Bujemi. Back to Carter Fahey. Not much movement here for the Saints on this possession. Fahey drives, scoops it up and in over the outstretched arm of Thomas Donati. Not a great possession overall for St. Francis there. They didn't move the ball particularly well, but they ended up with a very solid result. As Fahey makes a great effort inside and gets the layup. Now Holy with a great defensive effort, jumping in and stealing that one. Ahead for Bujemi, who lays it in. 6-0 run for the Fighting Saints. They've all come on layups. And now it's Judson who's really struggling on the offensive side. 3.5 minutes in. They do not yet have a field goal. 2 points on Jordan Johnson free throws. Here comes OC 2-2, guarded by Ting. Good defensive control by Ting, and Judson has to reset. 8 on the shot clock. Beatty around the screen, drives the lane up over Holy, comes up short, and Lewis Holy grabs the rebound. Here comes Eric Ting. Ting along the baseline, pulls up, fires outside. Holy tries the deep 3 and gets it. Timeout called by Judson as Lewis Holy knocks down a long 3-pointer. Holy not typically known as an outside shooter, but he was given a little space there and he made Judson pay. He's got his first 3. Saints have been awfully good from the field. Took them a while to get their first shot off. 3 straight turnovers before they even got a field goal attempt, but now they've hit on every shot they've taken. 3 layups plus that long Lewis Holy 3-pointer, and it's a 9-2 score. Lewis Holy scores for the first time in a couple of games. In fact, he didn't even get a shot off in the win over East-West University on Tuesday. Holy typically a major cog in this St. Francis offensive game, but He was in foul trouble on Tuesday, fouled out after only 8 minutes. So it's good to see him get rolling early today, especially now that E.J. Charles has found himself in early foul trouble. He's on the bench with 2 of them. Judson coming out of the timeout as Jordan Johnson walking across half court. OC Tudu on the left side. Gives it up to Donati. Bounced ahead for Johnny Flynn. Flynn recovers and lays it in. Out of the timeout, Judson scores from the field for the first time. That snaps a 9-0 St. Francis run. Just about 15 and a half minutes to play in the first half. Here's Bujemi down to the corner for Maxwell Topia. Rehana Maxwell Topia backs in, and he's called for an offensive foul. Leaned out with the elbow there. He knocked down the jumper after the whistle blew. Everything is falling right now for the Saints, but way too many turnovers for Ryan Marks' liking early in this game. Five-point deficit for Judson with the ball. Randy McRoberts is called for a travel. First touch of the game, I believe, for Randy McRoberts, who came in during the last timeout. Received the pass and immediately traveled. McRoberts, a sophomore from Missouri, has not gotten into a game in NAI action prior to today. Fahey is pushed from behind by Johnny Flynn. Foul is called on Flynn. Judson hasn't played an NAIA opponent in about a month. Shouldn't be too rusty. They did have an exhibition game earlier this week as Carlos Tobias and DeAndre Johnson check in for the Fighting Saints. Ting gets it into Fahey. Fahey, one dribble, picks it up. Now the fadeaway is good. Saints still lights out from the field. 11 of 4 is the lead. Here's OC Tutu. Backs it up to the Saints logo. And now hands it off to Johnson. 13 to shoot. Pull-up jumper from the wing is good for Johnson. A two-pointer. Jordan Johnson's got 4 points in the game, and a little full-court press from Chris OC Tutu. Saints beat it pretty easily. Carter Fahey walks it down the floor. Over to Johnson. DeAndre Johnson's had a big first 2 games in a Fighting Saints uniform. Bujemi drives, kicks it outside. Fahey open look, got the 3. An 8-point lead for St. Francis. They continue to drop everything that they've been putting up there. Fahey's got 5 points. Here's OC Tutu, blocked by DeAndre Johnson. Ahead to Carlos Tobias. Tobias up to Fahey. And they slow it down. Eric Ting tries his hand at a 3-pointer. It's short. Tobias offensive rebound. Fahey steps into another 3. That's short. Offensive rebound. The putback is good for DeAndre Johnson. His first 2 points, and the Saints finally, after almost 7 minutes of basketball, have missed a shot. They were 6 of 6 from the field. In fact, they've missed 2 shots, but they grabbed the offensive rebound both times. Johnny Flynn drives. Flynn hops and passes outside to OC Tutu. On the move, we've got a foul going up on Fahey. Two free throws coming up for OC Tutu. Fahey is called for his first foul. First free throw attempt of the season for OC Tutu, and it's good. OC Tutu, like McRoberts, did not play in the first 2 games of the season against NAIA competition back in early November. Since then, Judson has had games either postponed or canceled every week. They finally got one in again against Bradley earlier this week. That was an exhibition against a very good Division I program. Second free throw rims out, rebounded by Fahey. Here comes Nadav Gerner. Swung around to the left wing. It's Jake Carley. Gerner looks down low for Johnson, deflected away by Donati, out of bounds. 12:51 to play in the first half. 16 on the shot clock for St. Francis, who inbounds from the sideline. It's Jake Carley doing the honors. Turnaround for Fahey off the back iron. Rebounded Judson. First time today that the Saints have come up empty on a shot. Their other two misses were both offensive rebounds. OC Tutu misses on the three-pointer. Johnson battles for the rebound and grabs it. DeAndre Johnson is looking very good early in today's game. He's looked good all season so far, averaging nearly a double-double per game through the first two. Fahey down to the corner for Tobias, who saves it from going out of bounds. Now Carley on the drive. He's bumped on the floor. 12:16 to play first half. 9-point lead St. Francis. They'll inbound from the baseline as the foul is called on Randy McRoberts, his first. It's the team's third foul. Into Johnson, who's left uncovered, and an easy layup for DeAndre Johnson. Snuck in behind Thomas Donati. 6'10 Frenchman just lost track of him. Good ball work by OC Tutu, lays it off, and a foul called will send Donati to the free throw line as Johnson picks up his first. Set up by a really nice drive there by OC Tutu. And Johnson was just caught off balance after the fine drive. 2 free throws for Thomas Donati. 1 for 2 from the line so far this year. First free throw is good. After a short breather, Jordan Johnson is back in. Randy McRoberts grabs the seat. One out of 2 once again for Judson. And the Saints come away with the rebound. Here's Carley up to Fahey and around to the left side, Gerner. Gerner gets a screen, takes a step to the right, bounces down low for DeAndre Johnson. 12 on the shot clock. Gerner drives, kicks outside into the corner. Carley, just 7 to shoot now. Fahey all alone in three-point range, and he misses it. Rebound Johnson. Another offensive board for DeAndre Johnson. Little hook shot misses short, and the rebound goes to number 50, Thomas Donati. Thrown away. OC Tutu was looking down low for Alex Priftis, and he airmailed him way out of bounds. It's a turnover. 10-point lead for the Fighting Saints, who make a couple of substitutions. Aitor Abatatarte is in. And Josh Cherry checks in as well. Johnson and Fahey grab a seat. Cherry passes off to Tobias on the right side. Gerner fires down low to the cutting Tobias. Tobias dishes it off to Anabadarte, and he hits the short jumper. First 2 points of the game for Aitor Anabadarte, who in limited action last week, there's Jake Carley jumping in the passing lane and deflecting it out of bounds. In limited action on Tuesday against East-West, Anabadarte, the freshman from Spain, led the team in rebounding. Today he checks in and immediately picks up 2 points. Johnson kicks it outside. Priftis for 3. Off the mark. Offensive rebound to Donati. He loses it, and it's out of bounds to the Saints. All St. Francis so far in this game. They have shot the ball extremely well. 64% from the field to get us started today. And after they shook their early case of turnovers, they've been dominating this game. Up by 12 with 10.5 minutes to play in the half. There's Gerner, who drives and loses it. Picked up by Alex Priftis, who will get credit for the steal. Here comes Beatty. Beatty spins to the lane, and he misses short on the layup, looking for the foul. No call. Gerner. He carried it. Would have Gerner called for the carry, a turnover. 10:16 to go first half. Judson ball. That's been Really the one problem for St. Francis today. Here we are, not yet 10 minutes in the game. They've already committed 7 turnovers. Other than that, they've been excellent. Great defense, great shooting. They haven't held on to the ball very well. There's Johnson on the drive. Last second, dishes it off to Donati, who lays it in. And a timeout is called by St. Francis. It's a full timeout. Just about halfway through the first half. 10 minutes, 1 second to play before halftime. And so far, it's all Saints. They lead by 10, doubling up Judson, who has shot just 30% from the field. Both of these teams are turning the ball over a lot. 7 turnovers for both teams. Again, the difference in our score right now, more than anything else, is those turnovers. Or, sorry, is the shooting. Both teams are turning it over, but the shooting has been a big difference. Saints at 64%, Judson at just 30%. Rebounds a big thing, too. The Saints have 3 offensive rebounds. How about this? St. Francis only has missed 5 shots. They've got 3 offensive rebounds. So when they've missed, it's been more likely that they've gotten another chance than it's been for Judson to get the rebound and clear it. So far, it's been DeAndre Johnson who's led the way with 5 rebounds. Carter Fahey has 7 points for the Fighting Saints so far today. Playing just their 3rd game of the season. Like Judson, they've had some problems with postponements and cancellations, and that's nature of the beast right now. Both teams, of course, are hoping the schedule picks up going forward here. It's impossible to know how many of their games are actually going to be played, but Saints do have another one scheduled on Wednesday here at home. As Carlos Tobias tries to break the press and does one better. He gets across half court and draws the foul on Jordan Johnson. Johnson is called for his first. 4th on the Eagles. Here's Carly to inbound. He finds Josh Cherry. Bounce to Gerner. Gerner, nice dish to Anabitarte, who in traffic goes up and scores. Aitor Anabitarte's got 4 points in just over a minute on the floor. Saints lead is back to 12, matching their largest so far. Lob down low, Thomas Donati. Donati kicks it outside. This is Beatty. Ty Beatty working around the perimeter, gives it up to Johnson. Down low, Donati, 10 to shoot. And a foul called on the defense. Aitor Anabitarte called a physical battle down low against Thomas Donati. Donati from France, Anabitarte is from Spain, so a European matchup down low. Lobbed in, deflected by Tobias, but right to Judson. This is Matthew Lesh losing it, picked up by Anabitarte. Gerner along the baseline, kicked out to Carly. Good ball movement by the Saints. Josh Cherry misses the 3. And Carlos Tobias went over the back on the rebound. So we've got a loose ball foul called against the Fighting Saints. That's the 7th foul on St. Francis. So that means we all get to make the long walk to the other side of the floor. I'm not making it, but they all get to make that long walk. And we got a 1-on-1 here for Thomas Donati. Donati 1 for 2 from the line today. He's 2 for 4 on the season. To get a chance to make 50% here, he's got to make the first, but he doesn't. And Anabitarte grabs the rebound, and he's fouled immediately by Lesh. Anabitarte held that ball high up over his head as he grabbed the rebound, and the shorter Lesh swatted at it, got more arm than ball. Here's Johnny Flynn back in for Matthew Lesh. Just over 9 minutes to play in the first half. Here's Gerner against the press. He beats Ty Beatty and bounces ahead to Jake Carly. Here's Gerner. Gerner along the lane. He is blocked out of bounds. It'll belong to the Saints. Gerner very surprised there wasn't a foul called, but it is still Saints basketball. Here comes Darius Jones off the bench for Judson. Jones is a 10.5 point per game scorer through the first two. Started the first 2 games of the year off the bench here today. Tobias shovels it off to Anabedarte, who walks. Saints turn it over again. 8:45 to play first half. It's been a good first half despite the turnovers for St. Francis. Turnovers and foul trouble. One of their starters, E.J. Charles, has been on the bench since just under 19 minutes to play. He played barely over a minute. Picked up 2 fouls, and they've made do without him. All subs on the floor right now for the Fighting Saints as Josh Cherry picks up the block on Darius Jones. Tobias gives it up to Cherry, back to Tobias, step back, 2-pointer is good. Foot was on the line. He tried to step behind that 3-point line. He didn't quite make it, but he'll take the 2 points at least. 14-point lead for the Saints is their biggest so far. Johnson trying to cut it back to 11, but he misses on the 3. The Eagles have not yet hit a 3-pointer in today's game. Here's Carley up top and around to the left side. Cherry took a walk. Actually, it's a turnover, but I think rather than the travel, it's called for stepping on the line. So it's an out of bounds rather than a travel. Joey Bajemi, Rihanna Maxwell Topia, and Eric Ting are all coming back in for the Fighting Saints. They're bringing the starters back on the floor. Josh Cherry and Aitor Anabedarte remain out there. Right side, it's Lesh. One bounce, gives it up to Johnny Flynn. 15 to shoot. Johnson drives on Maxwell Topia. He scores and a foul. Foul called on Anabedarte. Good, strong drive right there for Jordan Johnson. And now an opportunity to make it a 3-point play. That brings Lewis Holy back off the bench for Anabedarte. Johnson good from the line. He's only missed once all year in 13 attempts. And he's not going to start now. Adding to that one. So he makes it a 3-point play. It's an 11-point game with 7.5 minutes left in the half. Joey Bajemi. Off to the right side, it's Eric Ting, and Ting travels. There's been a traveling epidemic in the arena today. A lot of guys taking quick steps before putting the ball on the floor. And the Saints turn it over yet again. 9 turnovers in this first half for St. Francis. There's a drive for Jones, who lays it in over Holy. Nice drive, Darius Jones. 5 straight points for Judson. They've got that deficit back down to single digits. Holy outside, gives it to Ting. Ting dribbles to the left, into the corner for Maxwell Topia. Back out to Ting, he tries the 3 and drains it. Eric Ting makes that lead double digits again. Johnson trying to cut back into it, and he does. Jordan Johnson taking things over on the Judson side with a 3-pointer. Here's Joey Bajemi. His step back fadeaway is blocked. Jordan Johnson gets the block. Big game so far for Jordan Johnson, who drives here, dishes it off, down low, and we've got a travel called against Elon Schiller. It's a turnover, and the Saints get it back, and that slows things down a little bit. Elon Schiller was in some trouble with 3 defenders around, but good pass from Johnson before that. Johnson's got 10 of Judson's 18 points. Traveling called on Lewis Holy. Elon Schiller stepped back, took the rug out from under Holy's feet. Holy wanted a foul called on Schiller, no dice. Johnson's 3-pointer a moment ago was the first of the game for the Eagles. They had been 0 of 4 from beyond the arc. And there's a carry on Johnson. So No one is immune from the turnover bug today. We've seen turnovers left and right, and even Johnson, who's played a really strong first half, coughs it up right there. That's the 10th turnover for Judson. E.J. Charles is back in playing with 2 fouls for St. Francis. So all 5 starters are on the floor. Charles hands it to Ting, and Charles is called for his 3rd foul, this one on a moving screen.
St. Francis foul number 10, E.J. Charles.
So Ryan Marks came back to him here in the first half and immediately picks up his 3rd, and for at least the moment, Marks is going to stick with Charles. Hard to get him into a rhythm if he's only going to be playing a few seconds at a time, so Marks will let it go and see what happens. Here's O.C. Tutu, the little floater, it's good. Nice move by Chris O.C. Tutu to get that one up. Here's Ting. Ting has it stripped and a foul called on O.C. Tutu. He doesn't like that call. We've seen a lot of incredulous players, and it certainly has been a tightly officiated game today by Tony Driscoll, Trent Eshelman, and Michael Snodgrass. I think it's been called pretty evenly both ways. Well, more fouls have been called against Judson. 9-6 is the count. So the Saints are not yet in the bonus. The next foul will put them at the line. 5:19 to play first half. Bujemi finds Charles. E.J. Charles takes a dribble to the right side, crosses over, nearly lost it, but he sticks with it. Back to Bujemi for 3, it's good. Can't leave him that much space. Joey Bujemi has been lights out from beyond the arc this year. Now 7 of 12 shooting 3-pointers on the season. Here's Ty Beatty. Off to Darius Jones on the left side. Jones drives down the lane. Gives it up to Gives it up to Schiller, and it's lost, taken away by the Saints. Charles goes up with 2 hands and throws it down. First points for Charles, and it gives the Saints a 12-point lead. It also gets a lot of guys up off the bench to celebrate. Now Johnson on the other end lays it in. Quick bucket for Jordan Johnson. He's got 12 points. It's out of bounds, and last touched by Judson, trying for the steal off the inbounds pass. Carter Fahey is back in for E.J. Charles. Judson brings Donati and McRoberts back in. Fahey and Ting work to get it across the timeline. Carter Fahey walks to the right, picks up his dribble, bounces over to Holy, and Holy's foul. Thomas Donati came in from behind and tried to take that ball away, but he sends Lewis Holy to the free throw line instead. 1-1 for Lewis Holy. His first foul on Thomas Donati. Holy, a good free throw shooter. Makes the front end of the 1-1. Four points for Lewis Holy. And there's number 5. He's 4 of 4 at the line so far this year. Just over 4 minutes to play in the first half. Joey Bujemi fell out of the play. Johnson trying to take advantage, gives it up inside, and it's deflected out of bounds. It stays with Judson, but for a moment the Eagles did have a 5-on-4 advantage as Bujemi fell out towards the sideline. Eagles were not able to get a shot off despite the advantage. Maxwell Topia lobs it in where it's poked up in the air by Fahey, but chased down by Johnny Flynn. Here comes Flynn down the center. Flynn gives it up to Donati, and Donati with the two-handed flush makes it a 10-point game. Judson's hanging around. Saints went up by 10 points for the first time at 16-6. I think I've got that right. Judson has played them even ever since. Here's Maxwell Topia. Out to Fahey, 7 to shoot. Bujemi needs some help. Bounces to the right side, gets the screen, step back, three-pointer, misses everything. It's a shot clock violation. Well, I mentioned before, Bujemi has had great success shooting three-pointers this year, but that's not a shot he wanted to take. He really didn't have any choice. Not a good look at the basket. Carlos Tavares guards Jordan Johnson down the floor. Johnson works his way inside, pulls up and scores from about 3 feet out. Jordan Johnson continues to be very impressive. Keeping his team alive in this game, he's scored more than half of their points. Ting is fouled by Ty Beatty. Eric Ting is going to the free throw line. First foul on Ty Beatty. 1-1 for Ting. Ting is 8 of 11 from the line this year. He makes the first. One more shot coming with 2:53 on the clock. Got them both. Saints are doing some good things from the free throw line so far today. Here comes Jordan Johnson. Johnson drives off the glass and in. He's not even looking to pass anymore. He has no reason to. He's scoring at will on the offensive end, and now the Eagles need a stop. Saints have been very efficient when they've not turned the ball over. They're shooting at an extremely high rate. Fahey backs in. Fahey turnaround, high off the glass, no. Johnson fighting for the rebound and grabs it. Out to Carlos Tavares, three-pointer, short. Battle for the rebound, and again it's offensive. Fahey to Johnson, who scores and one. DeAndre Johnson's having a big game. In just a few minutes on the floor, he's only played 5 or 6 minutes. He's got 4 points now, 6 rebounds, and a timeout is called by St. Francis. 2:14 to play first half. It's a 10-point lead for the Fighting Saints, 38-28. And as I said before, the Saints have been very efficient on offense when not turning it over. It's more than that. It's been unforced turnovers, which have been really costly for the Fighting Saints. But they're shooting at a high percentage. They're getting a lot of opportunities because they've got 6 offensive rebounds so far. They are scoring very well today. And Johnson's at the line trying to add 1 to his total. I said he's got 4 points a moment ago. He actually has 6. So he's on pace for another double-double. He had 10 points, 10 rebounds in the season opener. 8 and 7 on Tuesday against East West in the first win of the year. He misses on the free throw. Rebound tapped into the air, but grabbed by Johnson. Judson basketball. Ty Beatty out at half court, looking to set things up. He sends it into Flynn. Back out Jordan Johnson. Down low, Thomas Donati backs in, and he travels. 12th turnover of the game called against Judson, or I should say 12th turnover of the game committed by Judson. They haven't all been just called by the officials. That one was. Here's Ting on the right side. Eric Ting fires across court to Fahey. Three-pointer, good. 13-point lead for St. Francis on Carter Fahey's three-pointer. 8th in the game for Fahey. Beatty to his left, pulls it back. Here's Flynn at the top of the key. On the right side is Jordan Johnson. Johnson takes a step into a three-pointer and misses it. Offensive rebound for Beatty. He throws it off of Eric Ting, but Ting is called for the push. And a foul on Eric Ting. That's going to send Ty Beatty to the free throw line.
St. Francis foul number 3, Eric Ting, his first.
First foul on Ting. The Eagles are in the double bonus. Beatty looks to get on the board and cut into a 13-point deficit. His first of 2 foul shots misses short. From the free throw line today, St. Francis is 4 of 5. Judson is just 5 of 8. Beatty scores his first point of the game. Minute 13 to play in the half. Fahey to Ting. On the right side is Tobias. Back outside. Joey Bujemi bounces over to DeAndre Johnson. 10 to shoot. Bujemi steps back outside the line, gets the screen. Picked up well by Donati. Cross court to Ting. 3 on the shot clock. Tobias has to get one up just inside the free throw line. He knocks down the jumper. The Saints take it all the way down to the wire, but they end up scoring before the shot clock buzzer. The lead is 14. Here's Donati with the turnaround, no good. Rebounded by Johnson, and the shot clock is off for St. Francis as Ting's pass to Bujemi is deflected out of bounds by Thomas Donati. Bujemi will inbound with 24 seconds on the first half clock. Gets it into Ting in the backcourt. And Eric Ting is fouled by Ty Beatty, playing a little bit too tight on defense. So with just 21 seconds to go in the half, Beatty sends Ting to the free throw line, all the way out at half court. Not a place that he wanted to commit a foul, obviously. And that's the 10th team foul against Judson. So Ting is going to get 2 free throws. 3 fouls on Beatty, so he checks out, and Chris Ositutu comes in. Ting's first free throw is good. Lewis Holy is in for DeAndre Johnson. Josh Cherry comes in for Carter Fahey for this final defensive possession of the half that's about to come our way. Looks like Gerner's getting set to come in for his defense as well. First, one more free throw for Eric Ting. That's good. $16-point lead for the Fighting Saints. And Judson will have the opportunity here to take the last shot of the half. This is the biggest lead of the game so far for St. Francis. They'll be going in at halftime with a big lead regardless of what happens here. Donati kicks it outside. Ositutu for 3. It's on the money. And that's how the first half ends. A big shot for Judson to end the first half. They needed it just to get their balance back going into the break and try to give them a little momentum heading into the second half. But the first half of today's game belongs to the Fighting Saints. The home team shoots well over 50%, opening up as big as a 16-point lead. They'll head into the half ahead by 13. We've got 15 minutes on the clock for halftime, and I'll let you enjoy those 15 minutes before interrupting your solace once again with some first half stats and second half action not too long from now. Right now, I'll take a break. 45-32, Saints lead at halftime. We're coming up on the second half here at the Sullivan Center on the University of St. Francis campus. The Fighting Saints have a big halftime lead of 45-32. They gained that lead by shooting the lights out, 61% from the field in the first half. In fact, every player on the Fighting Saints who had more than one field goal attempt shot 50% or better. So it's not just one player doing this right now for the Saints. Up and down the lineup, they've been dominant. Carter Fahey leads the way with 10 points on 4 of 8 shooting. Joey Bujemi and Eric Ting each have 7. DeAndre Johnson has chipped in with 6 points and a team-leading 7 rebounds in just 7 minutes played. Lewis Holy has scored 5. He's got 3 steals as well. As for Judson, it's been the Jordan Johnson show. He is 6 of 8 from the field for 16 points. The rest of the team, 6 of 15 from the field for 16 points. So Jordan Johnson's done it all. Aside from him, Judson needs somebody else to step up if they want to make a basketball game out of this, trailing by 13 right now at the half. Now, both teams did have one big problem in the first half, and that was holding on to the basketball. A lot of turnovers. We saw 23 combined turnovers in the first half, 11 committed by St. Francis and 12 by Judson. Fighting Saints scored 13 points off of those 12 Judson turnovers, and Judson scored 11 off of St. Francis 11 turnovers. So a lot of points off the turnovers. Both teams have capitalized. We'll see if we can clean things up a little bit here in the second half, though. It was a very well-shot game, and I think that's the reason that it's been as entertaining as it has been up to this point, because there's been a lot of sloppiness as well. 23 combined turnovers and 20 combined fouls in the first half. E.J. Charles inbounds. Eric Ting, Joey Bujemi, Lewis Holy, and Rihanna Maxwell-Topia on the floor for St. Francis. Judson counters with Johnson, O.C. Tutu, Flynn, Donati, and Beatty. All 10 starters are out there as Rihanna Maxwell-Topia is called for the travel. That's the 4th turnover committed today by Rihanna Maxwell-Topia. I think 3 out of the 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken, have been travels. So he's having a lot of trouble with that at the moment. 12th turnover committed by the Fighting Saints. O.C. Tutu back over to the left. Gives it up to Flynn, who's picked up by Charles. Flynn, 3-point attempt. Short, rebounded by Lewis Holy. His 2nd rebound of the game. Here comes Eric Ting, pulls up in the lane, fires a jumper and misses. Holy taps the rebound towards the sideline, and Ty Beatty pulls it in. Here's Jordan Johnson off to O.C. Tutu. Back to Johnson, left uncovered. His 3-point attempt rims out. Saints catch a break because they left him all alone. Johnson was not able to capitalize. First half got off to a very slow start scoring-wise. Second half doing the same. We're a little over a minute in. Eric Ting pulls up, passes outside. Lewis Holy for 3. Comes up short. Second 3-point attempt of the game for Holy, his first miss. Here's Johnson on the drive and kick out to O.C. Tutu. Johnson with 13 to shoot. Over to Ty Beatty on the right side. Beatty gets a screen. Picked up at the top of the key, but Bujemi pokes it away. The ball loose. He sticks with it. Beatty drives. Over Holy, he scores, and a foul called on Holy. Big time recovery there for Ty Beatty. It looked like Bujemi was going to get the steal. Beatty was able to recover, keep the ball alive and the possession alive. And then with just 2 seconds on the shot clock, he drives to the basket, scores, and gets to the free throw line. Ty Beatty is 1 of 2 from the line today. Now he's 1 of 3. Judson is just 6 of 11. Beatty stuck on 3 points after missing the free throw. Eric Ting picked up by O.C. Tutu. Bounced over to Lewis Holy on the right elbow. Now Ting drives by O.C. Tutu and gets to the basket for the layup. Pretty drive for Eric Ting, who gets the Saints on the board for the first time in the second half. Took him about 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Drive from Johnson and a response on the other end as he lays it in for his 17th and 18th points. Well, in the first half, the Saints struggled out of the gate, struggled with turnovers. It took them 3 minutes to get their first shot off. Once they did, though, they made their first 6 in a row. See if they can get in a groove like that here as Rihanna Maxwell-Topia is fouled and Ty Beatty is whistled for his 4th. That brings Randy McRoberts off the bench. Inbounded to E.J. Charles in the post. Charles backs in some trouble. Fights it up over Johnny Flynn. It's an air ball. Rebounded by Thomas Donati. Strip from Eric Ting. The ball loose, and we've got a tie-up. E.J. Charles battling O.C. Tutu. It stays with Judson. Nice work by Ting and by Ting and Charles. Ting knocked the ball away from O.C. Tutu, and then Charles got his hands on it to force the tie-up, so he's flipped the possession arrow as Judson keeps the ball with 20 seconds on the shot clock. 17:05 to play in the game. 11-point lead for St. Francis. They've been up by as many as 16. They've not trailed, but at 2-0. Donati up with the right hand, does not get the roll, and Holy tracks down the rebound. That's his 3rd rebound of the second half. He had just 1 in the first half. More missed shots this time around. Both teams shot over 50% in the first half as E.J. Charles goes up and puts it in. Great cut, great finish by E.J. Charles, and a gorgeous pass from Lewis Holy. That's just the way Ryan Marks would like to draw it up every time. Here's McRoberts pulling up. Got himself in the air, nowhere to go. He throws it off the backboard, no good. And Bujemi grabs the loose ball. Ryan Marks wants the team to run. Joey Bujemi inside the three-point arc, pulls up and passes out to Maxwell-Topia. Here's Holy. Maxwell-Topia for 3, missed it. Rebound is knocked out of bounds, last touched by St. Francis. 16 minutes even to play as the first half's leading scorer and rebounders return. Fahey back to the floor with 10 points. DeAndre Johnson and his 7 rebounds return to action as Charles and Holy sit down. Donati inside. Thomas Donati up off the glass in it. Nice move by Thomas Donati. Here's Joey Bujemi. This is Eric Ting giving it back to Bujemi. 3-point attempt, good. Another 3 for Joey Bujemi, who led the team in scoring at 16.5 per game over the first 2. He's got 10 points today, his 3rd straight in double figures. 3-pointer misses short from Johnny Flynn. Somehow the rebound finds its way back into Flynn's hands. He scores over Carter Fahey. Nice stick-to-itiveness there by Johnny Flynn. Judson's within 12. Here's Maxwell-Topia making it 15. Rihanna Maxwell-Topia's had a tough game so far, but he picks up his first 3 points of the afternoon and pushes St. Francis close to their biggest lead of the day. Flynn gets it back to 12. And a timeout called by Judson, a 30-second timeout as the two teams go back and forth, trading 3 balls. 14:40 to go, second half. St. Francis is on top by 12. 55-43 is our score, and 3-point shooting has heated up for both teams. Judson struggled from the outside early on. They missed their first 4 3-point shots of the game. Since then, they've gone 3 of 7, 43%. Saints have been hot from the outside all game, 7 of 15, 47% on three-point shots. From two-point range, they're 14 for 21 so far, a blistering 67%. Out of the timeout, Judson keeps OC Tutu in the backcourt, looking to put some pressure on Eric Ting. They get it out of Ting's hands into Fahey, and Fahey gets it across half court. Down to the corner, Bajemi steps in, well defended. He has to back out. Fahey drives. Fahey rolls it outside to Rihanna Maxwell-Topia. Saints move it around the perimeter again and reset at the top. 10 to shoot. Here's Ting. Ting working against OC Tutu, floats it up, scores, and we've got a foul called on the rebound. There was, of course, no rebound because the shot went in, but on a box out, Thomas Donati, or is it Flynn? It's neither Flynn nor Donati. It's number 21, Alex Priftis, junior out of Athens, Greece. So the Saints get possession back here. The basket does count. The foul came on the box out. So the shot counts, and now the Saints get another possession. Eric Ting to inbound here. Finds Carlos Tobias in the corner. Bounced in the post to Johnson. DeAndre Johnson backs in on Priftis. Up with the right hand, comes up short. And the rebound goes to Matthew Lesh. So the Saints aren't able to turn it into a 4 or a 5-point possession. They'll have to settle for 2. Lesh drives, banks it home. 12-point game. Judson is scoring all of a sudden. They're keeping it close here, or at least within striking range. Saints have scored all day. Question has been, is Judson going to be able to keep up? So far the answer has been no, though they've turned it around lately as Ting runs into some contact down the drive. Foul on the floor called against the Eagles. That foul is on Matthew Lesh. It's Lesh's first foul, the third on the team. Nadav Gerner is back in. He had 2 assists in 6 minutes played in the first half. Eric Ting grabs a seat. Inbounded to Tobias. Carlos Tobias drives in the lane, kicks it outside to Fahey. Fahey backs up. With 9 to shoot, Fahey's jumper falls. 14-point lead, St. Francis. Here's Jordan Johnson. Johnson blocked by Fahey. A bucket on one end, a block on the other, and now quickly ahead to Tobias, who misses the layup. Gerner grabs the offensive rebound and fights back outside to reset the possession. Bajemi all alone for 3, and he knocks it down. Timeout called by Judson, 12:50 to go. 17-point lead for St. Francis. This is their biggest advantage of the day. And Joey Bajemi's three-pointer is what forces the timeout. The third made three-pointer of the game for Joey Bajemi. He's now 3 of 4 from the outside in this game. And that means that on the season, he's 9 of 15, 60% on three-pointers. And worth noting that his only miss today came on a desperation shot as the shot clock was expiring. So he has been lights out from the outside. Bajemi's got 13 points, which moves ahead of Carter Fahey now for a team lead. And Bajemi has been the leading scorer for St. Francis in every game so far this year. Only 2 games, but he's been averaging 16.5 points thus far, and he's been consistent. It's been primarily because of that outside shooting. Carter Fahey and Eric Ting are both in double figures for the Fighting Saints as well. Saints playing their best basketball of the young season thus far today. Judson looking for their first victory of the season. They're 0-2. Their first 2 losses were both pretty close. In fact, both of those games came by identical scores. 77-68. That was back in early November, though. (76-67), by the way, those scores, not 77-68. Off by a point. But they're having more trouble than that keeping up with St. Francis in this game as the cross-court pass is deflected out of bounds. Possession still belongs to Judson. 9 seconds have gone off the shot clock so far. Here's Jordan Johnson, dominant in the first half. Quiet so far in the second. He's got 18 points. So he gives it up to Darius Jones at the free throw line. Lobbed inside for Jones. Jones up over Fahey, misses short. And the rebound grabbed by DeAndre Johnson. Darius Jones has the only 2 bench points of the game so far for the team in blue. Inside, Bajemi in traffic, turns around and banks it in anyway. 15 for Joey Bajemi. St. Francis is outscoring Judson in bench points. I believe the number is now 26-2. And again, they're not able to score off the benches. Priftis misses on the 15-footer. Here's Bajemi. He's been hot. This time they force him to give it up. Fahey's been hot too. Not this time though. Johnson grabs the offensive rebound. One dribble from DeAndre Johnson and an offensive foul called. Another offensive board for Johnson. He's been cleaning them up today. This time he gives the ball right back though. 9 rebounds in the game now for Johnson. 2 fouls. Johnson hands it off to Osi Tutu, puts the ball behind his back and gets inside. Picked back out to Darius Jones. Jones streaks to the basket and scores over Fahey. Nice drive by Darius Jones. Here's Fahey, crosses over, gets around Jones, shovels inside for Johnson. Reverse layup is good. DeAndre Johnson so efficient inside. 8 points, 9 rebounds today for the senior. Hasn't gotten a ton of minutes early in the year, but he has put up some big numbers in those minutes. Coming around the screen, the shot is good from Johnson. Jordan Johnson hasn't had as many opportunities lately, but still shooting the ball well when he gets them. Here's Johnson outside. DeAndre Johnson, that is. Fahey fires it inside to DeAndre Johnson, who lays it in. 4 straight points for St. Francis belong to their reserve center, DeAndre Johnson. The lead is back to 19. Just over 10 minutes to play in the game. There's Jordan Johnson, dribbling off to the left. Johnson gets inside and scores over both Tobias and DeAndre Johnson. Jordan Johnson's got 22 points now to lead all scorers. Here's Nadav Gerner. Gerner moves to his left and travels. It looked like he was bracing for contact from Thomas Donati, and it never came. And Gerner dragged his foot. Ty Beatty back in for Judson. Aitor Anabadarte is in for St. Francis. Anabadarte played 4 minutes in the first half. 4 points, 2 rebounds. Osi Tutu picks up his dribble and gives it up to Ty Beatty. 15 to shoot for Beatty, who finds Donati. Donati trying to get around Anabadarte. Nice move in the post, is able to score. A lot of offense here in the second half. St. Francis was up by 13 at halftime. They've been trading buckets for most of the second half. Gerner thought about the three. Now he takes the three and banks it in. He'll take it. Gerner gets his first points of the game. Here's OC22 crossing over, getting inside and drawing the foul. Chris OC22 will get himself to the line.
St. Francis foul number 33, Nadav Gerner. His first team's
OC22 scored 2 points in exhibition action against Bradley earlier this week after sitting out the first 2 NAIA games of the year. He's got 6 points today and misses on the opportunity to make it 7. E.J. Charles is in for Carter Fahey. Because of foul trouble on Charles's part, Fahey has actually played more minutes than the starter today, but he's had a productive game with 12 points. E.J. Charles has made the most of his time on the floor. He's had a couple of big dunks to get to his 4 points. 8:35 to play as OC22 makes 1 of 2 free throws and makes it a 17-point game. Here's the point guard Gerner passing off to Charles. Over on the left side, all alone, Tobias tries the three, no good. And the rebound goes to Matthew Lesh. Ahead for Jones. Jones slows it down. Bounce down low to Donati. Pretty far from the basket, steps back and faces the basket. He gets around Anabadarte and lays it in. Really nice move by Thomas Donati getting around Aitor Anabadarte. Here's Jake Carley. Carley loses it, stripped but taken right back by the Fighting Saints. Turnovers have not been nearly as plentiful here in the second half as they were in the first, but there's a wild sequence in which each team gets a quick steal and now a whistle. The reason for the whistle was that the shot clock never reset. And with 2 changes of possession, it was in fact 2 steals. It wasn't just a loose ball. Judson took the ball away. They had possession. Saints took it back. So the shot clock resets. It's at 26 right now. That's Judson's first turnover of the half. St. Francis has committed 3 of them. So like I said, much cleaner than we saw in that very sloppy first half. There's Charles. Outside to Gerner for 3, no. Long rebound, chased down by Jordan Johnson. Johnson streaks down the floor. In amidst 3 defenders, throws it up anyway, no good. Third effort misses. Darius Jones' 4th attempt, he scores. And now he's headed to the free throw line. 3 offensive rebounds in that sequence for Judson. The first tip missed. Jones grabbed the rebound, put it right back up. Grabbed his own miss the 3rd time around. And on the 4th effort, they finally score. Joey Bajemi and Rehana Maxwell-Topia are back in for the Fighting Saints. And it's just a 2-point play for Darius Jones. E.J. Charles in some trouble, needs help from Gerner, but Beatty takes it away. Ty Beatty scores and a foul. All of a sudden, Judson is working their way back into this game. A steal, a bucket, and now another chance at a 3-point play as E.J. Charles is called for his 5th foul. So Charles fouls out. 7:12 to play in the game. Now they're talking over, does he have 4 or 5? He thought it was only number 4. I only had him for 4 myself. But they've got him for 5 at the scorer's table. And that's a lot more important than what E.J. Charles or I think. So he's done for the day, 4 points today. Tough game for Charles, never really got into a flow. Picked up his first 2 fouls in just about a minute to start the game. Free throw is good for Beatty. So does a 3-point play, and now just a 10-point game. Timeout called by St. Francis. 7:12 to play. 71-61 our score. The Fighting Saints have seemingly been in control of this one from maybe not the start, but at least the first couple of minutes. They were up by 13 at halftime. They've been up by as many as 19 here in the second half. But Judson has put together their best stretch of basketball lately, and primarily the reason has been the shooting, which is something that I've been talking about all throughout the game today. Both teams have shot the ball really well, but both teams have had huge turnover problems, and those have been cut down. Judson has only turned it over twice this entire second half. Actually, I take that back. They've only turned it over once the entire second half. St. Francis has now turned it over 5 times, including a handful just in the last minute or 2. We're ready to go out of the 30-second timeout. It's a full court press. Inbounded to Eric Ting. Ting gets it off to Fahey. And Joey Bajembe gets across half court. Saints will slow it down here. Anabadarte outside the 3-point line. Gives it to Eric Ting. Ting finds a wide open Rayana Maxwell-Topia. His 3-pointer is good. Good possession for St. Francis coming out of the timeout. They get the shot they wanted, and their lead is back to 13. That's a huge 3-pointer. If they had come up empty there, Judson would have a chance on this possession to make it single digits, as Lesh misses on the 3-pointer and Anabadarte grabs the rebound. For being down double digits pretty much the whole game as Lesh commits the foul. I think just the mental advantage of getting under 10 would have been huge for Judson, but it's back to 13 now, and Judson's momentum seems to have died down. Just under 6.5 minutes to play in this one. Ting finds another wide open Rayana Maxwell-Topia. This time he can't finish, but boy, 2 possessions in a row. Judson has just left him all alone. Now Judson's trying to get it across half court. They do with 2 seconds to spare. Jones drives. Jones inside, draws the foul. That's on Aitor Anabadarte. He's got 3 fouls. That's 6 on the Fighting Saints. So free throws the rest of the way for Judson. First free throw is good for Darius Jones. Free throws are one area offensively that Judson has not shot the ball well at today. With that one, they're now 9 of 16 in the game, and he makes them both. The lead for St. Francis is 11 with under 6 minutes to go. Here's Aitor Anabadarte. Eric Ting with 15 to shoot stands outside. Bounces to Anabadarte, high post. Out to Rayana Maxwell-Topia. He loses the ball as he tried to put it behind his back, and it's out of bounds. Maxwell-Topia not nearly as open on that possession as he was on the previous 2, but he had a decent look, decided not to take it, drove instead and lost the ball. He's trying to claim that he was tripped and that's why he lost it, but the call goes to Judson. Here's Jordan Johnson. Down to the corner for Lesh. In the post, Donati. Donati back outside Lesh. Lesh on the move into Darius Jones in the corner. 12 to shoot for Donati. Backing in on Anabadarte. Blocked from behind by Carter Fahey. Good double team for the Fighting Saints. Fahey down low to Anabadarte. Blocked from behind, but a foul called on Matthew Lesh. Judson's lining up for an inbounds play, but clearly a shooting foul there, so Anabadarte will get 2. It's the 5th foul on Judson, the 4th on Lesh. First free throw misses. That's the 2nd miss from the line today for St. Francis. They're 6 of 8. Second free throw misses as well. He missed them both. So Judson now really does have an opportunity to pull it down under 10. Place they have not been in the second half. Here's Darius Jones. Outside Lesh, long 3, good. It's just an 8-point game. Judson was down by 19 7.5 minutes ago. This is as close as they've been since the first half. Rihanna Maxwell Topia drives, shovels it off last second, nobody there. Bujemi tried to save it, but he stepped on the line. DeAndre Johnson returns. Aitor Anabadarte has played some big minutes here in the second half. Four and a half minutes to go, 8-point game. Pull up, Jordan Johnson, air ball. It's an odd sight to see from such a good shooter. But he missed that one by a wide margin. That wasn't even close to hitting the rim. An open look. Johnson over to Bujemi, another good shooter. Another good shooter who misses. Carter Fahey tracks down the offensive rebound. Fahey goes up and scores. He had an open man outside. Bujemi was calling for the ball, but Fahey had confidence in himself to take that one up, and it's good for St. Francis that he did. He makes it a 10-point game with 3:47 to go. Judson calls timeout. 76-66 our score, so St. Francis still has a pretty healthy lead at this stage of the game, but the way it was going for a long time, I think it would be surprising to tell anybody 10 minutes ago that Judson would even still be alive at the 3:47 mark. They are alive. They were down by just 8 points a moment ago before Carter Fahey was able to lay one in. He's got 14 points. That's a season high for Fahey, his best game since he joined the University of St. Francis hoops team. Saints are still shooting a robust 58%. Judson at 52% right now. Saints are trying for their second consecutive victory. Judson is 0-2. This would be their first win of the year if they could get it. The Eagles struggled a season ago, just a 7-win season. They brought in a new coach this year, Bruce Fields, with a new staff. Ron White and Deontay Barnes are the assistants. So far have not been able to reverse their fortunes from a year ago, but St. Francis, who's got a lot of newcomers on this season's team compared to where they were a year ago, has got to feel good about the way this game has gone, specifically because of the trouble they had with Judson last year. 2 of the Eagles' 7 wins came against St. Francis, including one right here in January. But those 2 losses for the Saints against the Eagles last season, they came by a combined 4 points. So some really tough losses a year ago against their conference rivals, and a chance to make amends today. They've got a double-digit lead late. Here's Donati, top of the key. Thomas Donati bounces once and hands it off to Jordan Johnson. On the right side, Lesh fires a 3 and misses it short. The rebound goes to Carter Fahey. Eric Ting is bumped by Lesh. I believe that's number 5 on Lesh. So Matthew Lesh, who's come up with some big buckets here down the stretch, is done for the day. 5 points for Lesh today. He departs, and Ty Beatty comes in. It's the 6th foul on the team, so both sides have now hit their limit. Eric Ting bounces to Joey Bujemi. Backdoor cut Fahey, who made the extra pass to DeAndre Johnson, and it's poked away by Judson. Here comes Ty Beatty. Beatty runs into Ting. Offensive foul. Eric Ting takes the charge, a big one for the Fighting Saints. And Judson turns it over.
That's his 5th personal foul.
So that's the 5th on Ty Beatty. Back-to-back fouls have resulted in players fouling out. Beatty and Lesh are both done. Johnny Flynn has hopped off the bench. He's going to come in for Judson, who is using this foul out break as a timeout. Fahey set to inbound, finds Eric Ting, who bounces right back to Carter Fahey. There's Ting, off to the right side. Bounce to Fahey on the elbow. Fahey turns to the basket, blocked out of bounds by Donati. 15 to shoot, just under 3 minutes to play in the game now. Eric Ting is going to inbound this from the baseline. Ting with 10 to shoot. Dribbling in from the right side, gets himself underneath, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. Still belongs to the Saints. 8 to shoot now. Ting will inbound it once again. Bujemi in the corner. Three-pointer off the side of the backboard. Johnson, offensive rebound, and the putback is good. Another big game for DeAndre Johnson, who has just secured his second double-double in 3 games. The lead is 12. Here's O.C. Tutu floating it up there and missing it short. The offensive rebound and put back good for Donati. Donati brings Judson back to within 10. So the game not quite over yet. Saints, you've got to think, are just a few big buckets away from putting this on ice. Who's going to get them those buckets? DeAndre Johnson at the top, gives it up to Fahey. Fahey drives from the left. Fahey layup doesn't count. It's a foul on the floor. And Carter Fahey is going to go to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
Foul called on number 22, Johnny Flynn, is second. Team's 8.
Second foul on Johnny Flynn. 1-and-1 here for Fahey. It was the 8th team foul. Fahey misses the front end, and the rebound goes to Flynn. So Judson's still alive in this one. They've got very little margin for error, if any, here. They may have to score on every possession. The drive from Jordan Johnson, pull-up jumper, misses. Rebounded by Fahey. Bujemi slows it down and gets across half court just in time. Pass towards Johnson is intercepted by Donati. Thomas Donati all alone in the front court. Easy dunk. Timeout called by Judson. They're within 8. St. Francis's offense has dried up here. Up by 19 with 12 minutes to go. The lead is down to 8, but Judson also seems to have stalled somewhat. They were able to get the big steal in the fast break bucket right there from Thomas Donati, but the lead for the Fighting Saints has been somewhere between 8 and 12 for about 3.5, 4 minutes now. And Judson just hasn't quite been able to make that next push to tighten it any further. With a minute and a half to go now, the Saints know that if they want to, they can hold on to the ball to the extent that Judson would not get another possession until there was under a minute to play. And that is certainly a lot to overcome in under a minute, an 8 to 10 point game. So if the Saints score here, Judson would really have their backs up against the wall, but it's a big if right now. The Saints have struggled offensively last couple of minutes of this game. And you certainly have to give a lot of credit to Judson for their strong defense and for their strong fight when this game looked like it was over a long time ago. They have not given up, and they have given the Saints a good fight. It's still going to take a lot, though, for them to complete this comeback. Saints basketball, Judson putting on the press. They get it into Tobias. Here's Bajemi. Bajemi across half court to Tobias. Carlos Tobias walks it up towards the center of the floor. 13 to shoot. Saints continue to eat up some clock. It's Eric Ting. Ting gets the screen, moving to the right. Ting fires it down to Rehana Maxwell Topia. Dribbles in with the shot clock expiring. Misses short, grabs his own rebound. And Ryan Marks wants him to pull it out again. So now that we may have to see fouls from Judson. And they do commit the foul. Chris Ositutu reaches in on Carlos Tobias. This is about as good as it gets for St. Francis, being put in this position up by 8 with a minute and a half left. 1-1 here for Tobias. And he makes the first, a big free throw right there. So if he makes the second, this possession becomes a 2-point possession in which 40 seconds are taken off the clock, and it doesn't get much better than that at this stage of the game. Tobias makes them both. Nadav Gerner is in for Eric Ting. Clock malfunction there. We're ready to go. The clock wasn't running again. I'm not sure what's going on with the clock at the moment. It was at 51 seconds, 30 on the shot clock. It's thrown away and intercepted by Joey Bajemi, and that might do it for this game. As Bajemi is double teamed, he gets out of it, bounces to Gerner. Back to Joey Bajemi, and he's fouled by Darius Jones. So I don't think it's going to end up having any impact on the outcome of this game. It seems like St. Francis has this one pretty well in hand, but Judson was really hurt by the clock malfunction there. They got the ball in cleanly the first time. They had to stop just because of the clock issue. And then when they tried to reinsert the ball into play, it was intercepted. Bajemi makes the first free throw. Again, I don't think it makes any difference. It looked like St. Francis was well on its way to a victory here in the final minute, but if this were a closer game, I think that'd be an issue of frustration for the Eagles. Bajemi makes them both. 17 points for him, right at his average for the season. Here's Jordan Johnson. Johnson drives, and he's bumped by Bajemi. Foul called on the floor.
St. Francis foul number 23, Joey Bajemi, his first, team 7.
It's the first foul on Bajemi. Sends Jordan Johnson to the line. It's a 1-1 here. Johnson had 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting in the first half. Here in the second half, just 3 of 8 shooting. He's at 22 points right now, still leading all scorers. There's number 23, still leading all scorers. .7 seconds show on the game clock right now. Second free throw misses. Bajemi tries to grab the rebound. Johnny Flynn looks to take it out of his hands, and Flynn is called for the foul. So we go down to the other end as Bajemi sets up for 2 free throws. Double bonus now for the Fighting Saints. Joey Bajemi will try to add to his team high 17 points. First free throw is good. There's number 18 for the game. And one more for good measure. 13-point lead for the Saints, 26 seconds to go. There's a foul on Carlos Tobias. That's the one thing the Saints didn't want to see happen right there. They're going to send Judson back to the line. 13-point game, 20 seconds left. There's not a whole lot the Eagles can do here, unless you stop the clock and give him a chance for some free points. It's a 1-and-1, and he makes the first. Chris Tutu at the line. One more free throw here. It's good. Carter Fahey is in. Fahey will inbound. Into Bujemi, who's trapped in the corner and quickly fouled. So Judson playing this one all the way to the final buzzer. Down double digits in the final 18 seconds. Fourth foul on Johnny Flynn. I think he just picked up his first about 5 minutes ago in game time, if I'm remembering right. But he's up to 4 now. Bujemi misses on the first free throw. Bujemi had 15 points with a minute to go in this game. If he makes this free throw, he'll be at 20. 5 late points for the St. Francis guard forward. The lead is 12. The Saints, once again, will try to avoid a foul here. O.C. Tutu picks up the rolling ball. Dribbling quickly to the right side. Not fouled this time as he banks it in with 13 seconds left. Bujemi gets it in to Rehana Maxwell-Topia. His pass deflected, picked up by Johnson, ahead to Gerner, and Gerner is fouled with 6 seconds left. 10-point game. So Nadav Gerner goes to the line. Judson really going all the way to the end here. They did a great job in the second half, keeping this game winnable after they were down by as many as 19 points. But they were never able to get over the line. The first free throw is good from from Gerner. St. Francis's lead never diminished to less than 8 points down the stretch as Gerner makes them both. And Judson will have a chance to take one more shot here. O.C. Tutu on the run, knocks it down. 87-77. Gerner gets it into Maxwell-Topia, and that's how the game will end. 10-point win for St. Francis today. 87-77. So a little bit higher scoring for Judson than their first 2 games were. But the result is very similar. They lost their first 2 games by 9 points each. Today, a 10-point final. As St. Francis wins their second straight, they improve to 2-1 on the season. Nice win for the Fighting Saints today. They may not have finished it off quite as strongly as they would have liked. I should say the second half of the second half, they didn't play quite as well as they wanted to, but the last minute or two, they really did close it out well. They hit their free throws. That's the most important thing when you're playing with a lead late. Ended up shooting 75% from the line for the game. Judson shot 62%. But the big numbers for the Fighting Saints today, one, they shot 55% from the field overall, slightly edging out Judson's 53%. And rebounds were dominant for St. Francis, 38 rebounds to 23. That includes 12 offensive rebounds. DeAndre Johnson was the leader in that category. 12 points, 12 rebounds for Johnson, who comes up with his second double-double of the year. Joey Bujemi led the team in scoring with 20 points. Eric Ting chipped in 11 with 4 assists. Game high was Jordan Johnson, who had 23 points in the game. Thomas Donati really came on strong in the second half. He finished with 15 points and 7 rebounds. But St. Francis comes up with an 87-77 victory. The Fighting Saints are 2-1 now for the season, and the Saints will be right back here at home for their next one. They'll be taking on Indiana Northwest in another non-conference conference game. They face Indiana Northwest at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Conference season does not officially start until January, but they'll be playing these conference opponents in officially non-conference games for the rest of this month. So that'll be their 4th consecutive home game to start out their regular season schedule. I gave a stat at halftime today that every player for the Fighting Saints who took at least 2 shots shot 50% or better. That didn't remain true in the second half today, but look at some of the shooting percentages for their top scorers today. Joey Bajemi, 6 of 10. Carter Fahey, 6 of 12. He finished with 14 points. DeAndre Johnson, 6 of 8 from the field. Eric Ting, 3 of 5 for his 11 points. It's a fun day of shooting today for the Fighting Saints, who outscored Judson's bench 41-13. It was a really team effort once again for the Saints today, and that's been their calling card to start this season. A lot of balance up and down the lineup. They'll try to keep that going as they take on Indiana Northwest on Wednesday. Judson plays again tomorrow, and they'll play Valparaiso. So this is kind of a sandwich game in between a couple of Missouri Valley opponents. They're back to an exhibition against a Division I foe tomorrow, and I'm sure they'll be using some of the lessons they learned in the second half today in that one as they try to push forward. But again, with the win, St. Francis now 2-1. Judson falls to 0-3. That's going to do it for today's game. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself and this St. Francis victory. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Enjoy the rest of your evening.